Hey everybody, I just want to come on here to talk about I just started the Planet of the Apes like rebooted 2013, 2011 is when it started a reboot, and so I wanted to talk about that. I mentioned that like in a video a while back, but see, I started this franchise mainly because I had never watched it and the new one's coming out, and I know it's like the year of the monkey where we had like new Godzilla movie with Kong, Monkey Man. It's like primates, apes. That's the theme this year apparently. So I wanted to watch it, and I just wanted to talk about the movie because, quite frankly, I enjoyed it. Now, don't get me wrong. There were definitely some parts of the movie where I was like, "This is kind of silly," but my favorite, like I said, I enjoyed watching Godzilla vs Kong, so I like kind of some of the silly parts of it. So. And I've never really seen the original Planet of the Apes. I think I did watch the original like a long time ago. It's been a while. I think I watched it in school actually. And then there was the one with Marky Mark. So, but yeah, my initial thoughts on it. So since I just watched the first one, I haven't watched the second one yet. But my initial thoughts on it were, I enjoyed the movie. If I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10, maybe. Eight apes out of 10 monkeys. I don't know, but. So my initial thought is, first of all, I think there are 3 storylines in this movie, and I think each 3 of those storylines could have been their own movie. Number 1, you had the storyline, James Franco character, and they all revolve around him, right? The first storyline is like him, with trying to make the drug for his dad, and yeah, and to see, like, honestly, if that was its own movie where there's this guy trying to make a drug for his dad and his Alzheimer, honestly, I think that could be its own movie that could, that's like a family drama. And then there's a storyline with like kind of like the guy and his monkey and like Caesar and like everything he goes through, that's like kind of the more action part of it. That could be its own movie. And then there's like, this is not like a big one, but then there's like the rom-com kind of like he falls like for this girl. Like, and all these are kind of, I guess, like small little things to kind of drive this more main plot point. But I mentioned this in the Fallout video. I'm a kind of a sucker for a little romance. So when I saw the scene where like he's literally he's using Caesar, this ape, to like rizz up this girl, and ask her on a date. I think that was kind of funny. And like if I had a monkey for that, for an ape for that, I would be like, yeah, rizz up people, because I can't do it. I am so cautious, whatever. I don't have any game, so. I thought that was actually kind of funny. But there are parts of that little romance that I was like, okay, I don't really need to know much about this. I want to know more about monkeys. But besides the point of that, those 3 storylines I think could actually like be their own movie in some degree. So, but to drive the cows home, or I guess the apes home, I think the highlight of this entire movie was like Caesar's story. Especially the most entertaining parts were, so like I mentioned, kind of like I said, I watched Godzilla movies, and like honestly, the human part of the apes, this ape movie, was just to kind of drive the animal part. And so like the most entertaining parts of this movie were the ones with Caesar. And I kind of like, it does kind of remind me like when I did watch, and I'm comparing a lot to Godzilla vs Kong just because of like the scenes with Kong apes, right? The most entertaining parts of that movie for me were when it was just like Kong and like the little monkey, when it was kind of just the animals, right? And so the most entertaining part for me of this movie was when it was just Caesar, and like you see him like learning how to interact with all these other like apes, and like even making friends. That was so cool. Like he makes friends with like what is that, like some kind of, it's not an orangutan, but and like no sign language. That was like so cool. Like, oh, he's making friends here, and he's like learning how to like, when he did the analogy of like, by ourselves we're not strong, but then like breaks the stick, but together we are strong. So that was like really cool, that whole scene. And then they really build up his like revenge on like the keeper of the place, who was that he's that actor from that one movie, that one famous movie, The Borrower. The Borrowers, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, and they build up that guy's like, I mean, spoilers, that movie came out in 2011. I'm not like whatever. Like they build up his death so well, like when he finally like Caesar gets his revenge, or not necessarily Caesar gets his revenge, but like, yeah. And that was another aspect of the movie that I really found cool, was that like Caesar saw that like people treated him differently because of who he was, and therefore he didn't necessarily want to like hurt people. He just like wanted to be free, And I can tell that like I said, I haven't watched the other Planet of the Apes movies, but I can see how that like becomes probably like a plot point for Caesar later, where like he's just like, okay, he's conflicted with like hurting humans because he doesn't want to be maybe seen as like violent. He just wants to be free, and I'm sure that's going to cause maybe some issues for him later on. And like a lot of times when like I see like these franchises that I'm starting, a lot of time the reason I watch them is I see a trailer in like the movie theater, and I'm like, I kind of want to see how that is. I mean, I actually made a video about a similar one when the Fast 10 came out. I was like, I had never seen Fast and Furious, and then 10 came out, and I was like, the trailer for 10 came out. I was like, this is crazy. I kind of need to watch what's going on here, and started my journey with that. A lot of times, I don't watch these franchises because I like them. I'm just like really curious, and there is some fun along the way. But yeah, Planet of the Apes, or I don't know, that's Dawn of the Planet, Down on the Planet, or whatever that is. But you know, Green Goblin, James Franco, his acting was solid. This is a time where I'd see him in more movies. I don't know where his role plays in the next movie. I know like Woody Harrelson is like, I think, in the third one, but I'm trying to hurry and finish these before like the next one comes out. But like people I'm watching it with are a little slow. So I mean, I enjoyed the movie. It was great. The ending, like kind of scene where the breaking free is really cool. I don't know, something about like watching monkeys like just escape and like trick people. You know, like, oh, because always the joke that like, oh, this monkey apes are dumb, you know, and then they trick you, and then like, I don't know, it's like the inner evolution of me, Oonga Boonga, like comes out, and I'm like, yeah, monkey, ape, you know, like, yeah, and then like, I mean, and there were some emotional scenes in that movie, like the scene where like he stands up and he just yells no. I remember like, I never seen this movie, but I remember like I walked into I was in my uncle's house, and he was watching this movie, and I remember that scene. I remember being like kind of captivated on it, and when I first watched this scene, like for the first time the other day, it was powerful, and it like almost made me like emotional. I was like, oh my god, because it reminded me of like it's like my monkey brain was like, it was like I got triggered like the flashback of like whenever like humans like evolved to like speak. It's like my brain just like whoa, and it was kind of emotional. Like honestly, it was a good scene when he just stands up and no, and he's like shouting no, and then like, you know, they let Harambe loose, and then R.I.P. Harambe dies. I had to live through that again. You know, he sacrifices himself for Caesar. He was a diehard Harambe saved Caesar. You know, he's a real one out there. You know, but I mean, great movie. And also this is something I don't see a lot either. The ending sequence, like the credits, was amazing because it showed you like, because like there's a virus that's out now, and like that's probably gonna take place. I mean, they really built up to tease this next movie. They like really built it up, and so. Like, and I love how in the end credit scenes you can see like where like the guy who got sick, like his plane goes, and then like, cause he's a pilot, and like it branches out to all these other places around the world. That is like absolutely one of the coolest like ending sequences I've ever seen, and like they really teased that like, oh, we're trying to make a franchise out of this, and it's crazy that like maybe, and this is something I still notice. A lot of these franchises that like maybe kind of took their time, I'm starting to see flourish more. Like whether it's like Godzilla or Planet of the Apes, you know, and I mean, it's cool. I like that. So I'm excited to see the next one. I know what's a Dawn of the Planet. Yeah, like some apes. I just like monkey. Ooh, so I'm gonna enjoy it. I don't really have anything else to say about this movie. I wanted to keep it brief because like that last video I made about Fallout drained me because it was like 20 minutes. But yeah, here's to seeing the next movie. If there's anything I forgot to say, then well, I'll probably bring it up in the next one. So if you want to have fun. Just watching Apes Rise, watch that movie because the new one's coming out. Might as well just grab your popcorn, grab your drinkies, and head to the theater. So, juice out.